thanks to the support as a channel member, Max Rolfe. Well, here we go then, boys and girls. After 7 long years, we have finally made our way to Ligue 1, and the real difficulty begins here because we've been given only a £3 million transfer budget to try and compete in a league that includes Paris Saint Germain. This feels really balanced. Hello and welcome to part 42 of the Tour de France. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special at the end of another victorious season. It took us a couple of years to get out of the second tier, but we have done it, and we've done it as champions. Is that the trophy? I feel like that's not a very impressive trophy, but to quickly go through the season review stuff before we go and spend our £3 million, it's like when your mum gives you £1 to go to Woolworths on a Saturday afternoon. Don't spend it all at once. I'll try not to, mum. Oh, look, the He-Man figures are £2.99. No chance of getting one of them today, then. I'll just get a Whisper. Probably 3 with a Whisper and a couple of bags of polos. How much was stuff back in the 80s? It's probably not the best comparison I've ever done. I do think we've not got much in the way of spensies this summer, though. So if we look back through last summer's signings, luckily the most successful ones didn't cost us any money anyway. Double Steve came in on loan. He's with us again this year on loan. 24 goals out of him on a 7.47. That's quite a good signing. Remy Vita came in on a free transfer and was fantastic. Matt Seamer came in on a free transfer, was fantastic. Lopi, copy and paste from above. Bridge and Delu less so. We'll probably let him go this summer. Likewise, Olivier Gal. I mean, we had too many strikers, really. It's interesting that Yevan Jerf has won signing of the season, despite the fact we then spent £130,000 to replace him with Luca Diaz, who's further down the list, only averaging a 6.79. In fact, it was 155, not 130. Jerf did pick up an injury as well. I wasn't just being a crazy person, but I think we probably are going to need to invest in a goalkeeper again this summer. I think it's probably the weak area of the squad going into Ligue 1. But there is your confirmation. We did finish first. The board did expect us to win promotion, apparently. I call shenanigans on that. I don't remember being told I had to win promotion this season. I think that's the game, once again, just adjusting its expectations to match what we actually achieved. So I can't get a decent amount of credit for it. Average home attendance of 7,000 suggests there's still plenty of growth room within our club going into the new league. And I really hope that's not my eyes blurred just here, and there is some kind of in-game glitch going on to confirm Double Steve is top goal scorer. There's our memorable moments of the season. We are still a 2.5-star club, so that's going to make it really easy to bring in top-level players. Sponsorships actually went down this year, which seems baffling, as did broadcast revenue. Bearing in mind we got through to the semi-final of the Cup as well, which is why competition prize money is up. That's the difference that getting to the semi-final of the French Cup makes. Corporate and hospitality, match day revenue all up, again, because of that Cup run. But these things are a little bit alarming. Hopefully they're going to go up massively this coming season. And Bradley Barcola sells more shirts than anybody else, which I guess is fair. He's the closest thing to a homegrown hero striker that we've got. I know obviously Nguema is a homegrown hero and he's on there as well. Tutu's been here forever and probably feels like one. But Barcola came in on loan as a reserve winger and we've turned him into one of our top scorers as a proper striker. He's our Thierry Henry. This is our team of the year. Diaz in goal, back for Vita, Carter, Matt Seamer, and very interestingly, Ahmed Fadi making it into the team of the year, despite only being a 1.5-star player and only playing 12 games. Suggests Van der Merch might not quite be the quality we need for Ligue 1. And then Lopi and Fowry in midfield seems about right. Lemina on the left and Nguema on the right. Barcola and Double Steve. No room for Gabriel Tutu in the team of the year for the first time since he's been at the club. Barcola wins Fans Player of the Year. Double Steve gets Young Player of the Year. Jerf, we know, his signing of the season. Goal of the season went to Fowry, probably for one of his spectacular free kicks. Bradley Barcola, top scorer on 25, although Double Steve was top league scorer, so they were both rattling in the goals. And Nguema, most assists from 12. This was a real breakout year for him. He is a star for us now. And Barcola, most man of the matches and top average rating. And Noah Lemina broke the club record for fastest goal scoring within the first 15 seconds of a match. earlier on in the season. Also worth noting, 2-2 is only 3 goals away from breaking Big Fat Dennis's all-time record goal scorer record. So that is likely to be broken at some point. I don't anticipate 2-2 leaving this summer. So our all-time best 11 still has Goda in goal, who is now a goalkeeping coach who can't coach goalkeepers. So unfortunately, not going to have a reason to bring him back into the club. At left back, Cisse, who of course is already here, albeit still now. Use words. Backup left back these days. Stephen Boyd is in the all-time best 11. I'd like to think now we're in the top flight, there's a chance we could bring him back because he's not starting regularly for Marseille still. But that price range suggests probably not. I mean, unless we can get him on loan. Now we're back in the top, or now we are in the top league, which also seems pretty unlikely. Mohamed Mukhtar Kamara is playing in Guinea, and Abdallah, one of the Abdallah brothers, I think they're both at Bastia, and we probably could have done with him second half of the season. Brian, I think Brian is still only 29 and still playing over in Luxembourg, where he's carved out a fantastic Luxembourgian career. And Jules Godin, after rattling all the goals for our B team last year, has moved back up to the National League with Châteauroux, our long-term rivals, and has had a fantastic season for them as well. He's a great player at that level. Perron unbelievably hasn't retired yet, despite being 36. He's still rattling out performances in the regional leagues and getting assists for fun as well, like he did with us when we were down at that level all those years ago. And Lemina is now in the team at the all-time best 11. On the right-hand side, despite never really establishing himself as a star for us, still only averaging a 6.76 last season, but did start almost every game. So he's obviously got something over me. Big Fat Dennis is still playing and still scoring goals, just not a goal a game anymore, which is much sadness. And Bouzrara is out in Tunisia, still playing and not really scoring. What I am interested in is Vaquero, who's not on that all-time best 11, because he's another one who I think maybe we could try and bring back. Vaquero and Fowry in midfield would be a fun homegrown midfield. The board are just looking for us to fight bravely against relegation, continuing to sign players to sell for a profit. We are certainly not close to establishing ourselves at the level we now find ourselves at. If we could stay up, that'll be fantastic, and we might still have to sell the stars to balance the books. I thought I just said we were probably going to get relegated. Apparently I've clicked the wrong one there. I'll back down. We've got time to turn this ship around. It'll be fine. New season team report. We don't need to worry about any of that. Training camp destination. Can we go somewhere fancy? No. 2 different parts of France. The Auvergne-Rhône Alps, so the Alps, I guess, or the Centre Val de Loire, which I think is where we are. So let's go to the Alps, have some mountain training, see if we can bring back a goat. One of those football goats that the cool, when the cool kids describe a good footballer as a goat. One of those. That's what I meant. It had a double meaning. How on earth are we going to spread £3 million across this team to turn it into title favourites? I don't even want to be title favourites. I just want to survive. It's going to take us 10 years to get to the point where we can win the Ligue. How do you spell Vaquero? Was it just Vaquero like that? Vaquero? Oliver Vaquero. It's just Oliver, not Olivia. Oliver Vaquero. See, he's also not really playing. So I'm thinking him and Boyd as our 2 biggest stars that we've produced are the 2 that we really need to be hoping we can bring back in and start getting the band back together. But for now, I've still got to finish a regional season to confirm that relegation, get those leagues binned off. And then, despite having £3 million to spend, I think our most sensible course of action is waiting until July the 1st and seeing what freebies we can pick up and try and get those 2 boys in on loan. So that is the plan. Well, it turns out this is how much TV money we get. £11 million. We are still massively overdrawn at the moment, so I guess it trickles in over the course of the season. I mean, it's more than we got last year. I think it was £4 million last year. It's still not the 90 million you get in the Premier League, though, is it? And we've missed out on signing the first player we were trying to sign as well, which is much sadness. Yeah, finances are going to take a long time to build up, I think. I've never known being promoted to the top flight and having a negative balance before in any save I've ever done. This is not going to be a quick process to topple Paris Saint Germain. In more exciting news, though, we have got rid of the regional leagues and the second 11. I'm never going to have to manage them again, and it's fantastic. Well, it is the 1st of July, and we have our now traditional random player turning up who I don't remember signing. I really, really need to not be allowed to offer pre-contracts. This guy is not very good. And we've also got to say goodbye to some of our players. Paolo, I'm still annoyed that we've lost Paolo. I think he was going to be fantastic. But he's gone. They've both dropped down to a lower league as well. Kingsley Gotan as well, who we kind of accepted wasn't ever going to be a regular player for us again. He's not been a regular starter for a long time. Back there 2 years ago was the last time he was a regular starter. And he was certainly not going to be a regular starter for us at our new level. So he's moved on as well. We're just trying to bin off the last couple of players. There's a few other contracts that have expired. And then we are going to do our traditional bringing in free transfers. This guy, probably, let's just accept any offer for him because we want rid of him. Mentoring group. There we go. So this is the squad as of 1st of July. If we just get rid of team selection from the last day of the season, that's the squad. If we have a look at the squad depth, I think we're probably going to play a 4-3-3 this season. I think we need to be a little bit more defensively sensible in the new division. So we're likely to go with double Steve up front on his own and Guema one side, and then 2-2 Lemina or Barcola on the other side. And obviously Barcola and 2-2 can play up front as well, and Guema can theoretically, but we've never really used him there. But use that as a front three, which means we certainly need to bring in more midfielders. I don't plan to use Matt Seamer as my holding midfielder. And then in central midfield, yes, we've got Fowry and Lopi, who are great, although Lopi might end up playing at the base of the midfield. But we do need someone with a little bit more attacking intent to come out of central midfield. That's a key signing for us this summer. And then at centre-back, Matt Seamer, Deleste, Carter, I think are probably all fine. We could do with one more centre-back coming in, so we never have to play Tom Reno there. We certainly need a right-back, Van der Merch. We don't know how his injury recovery has gone. Fardy will be great, but isn't ready yet. So we really need a starting right-back to come in. Left-back, we're fine with Cisse and Vita, and we certainly need a goalkeeper as well. So I'm thinking they're my priorities. Attacking central midfielder, possibly a holding midfielder, a backup centre-back, starting right-back, starting goalkeeper, and we've only got £3 million to do it. It'll be fine. We also have already made an offer for one of those. My midfield player, Boubacar Traore, fingers crossed we can get this guy in. We are still waiting for scouting to finish, but he is good in that Mazzala role, bursting out of midfield, which is exactly what we're looking for, and he's better than any other midfielder that we've got. So if we can bring him in, that would be super. He's never really played at the level we're moving into, but then neither of the rest of the squad. We're not going to be signing a load of Ligue 1 quality players, probably. Let's double check by getting some trialists in and seeing if we can bring in some superstars. We probably won't be able to. Right, we have a few signings in. It is proving difficult to bring in the players that we want because they all want a crazy amount of money. I really want this guy. I think he is the answer to all our problems at right back and would probably end up playing centre back actually for us at 6'4". But he wants £21,000 a week and we just can't offer it to him. There you go. Proof of the breakdown of previous talks. And we are hitting into that problem a lot. I think this has the potential to be a frustrating summer. But we did get Boubacar Traore, who we were looking at before. £600,000. He can play defensive midfield. He can play central midfield. 3.5 stars of current ability. He is the best midfielder we've got at the club now. He was previously at Grenoble. And I think this is probably going to have to be what we're doing, cherry picking some of the better players from the league below and hoping we can combine them into a team that can just about stay up. Yanis Begdadi is a left winger. We said we needed a left winger or potentially needed a left winger. Now we have another one. You know, I like to bring in left wingers every summer. And he is almost as good as Remy Vita, who obviously is going to play left back for us, on the same sort of level as Barcola. It does push Gabriel Tutu further down the pecking order, but so be it. Tutu might just have to accept he's our backup striker for this coming season. And then Radoslav Majecki, this one potentially controversial. You know we have the French only rule. He's not actually French. However, he's been at Monaco for 10 years and he could be French. if he wanted to. The fact that he's lived in France for 10 years and could get a French passport this afternoon, I think that means he counts. And mainly because we also couldn't find any better goalkeeper. But he's 6'4". He's been Monaco's reserve goalkeeper for years. And I think we needed him. And I think that makes it okay. Both the Monaco link, the fact he could be French, he's just not. So that actually has taken up almost all of our wage budget, just bringing in those few players. This is how expensive everyone is. The squad still needs a lot of work. And we have no money to do the work with. I have looked again at Boyd and Vaquero, but the kind of loan fees and things the clubs want are absolute insanity. For Boyd, we'd have to pay £4 million worth of loan fee if he played, £7 million if we didn't use him, plus a mandatory future fee of £6 million. So you're looking at a £10 million plus deal to bring him into the club, whilst also paying him a higher salary than anybody else who's here. We obviously can't do that. And then with Vaquero, it's a similar large offer. They want us to pay him £8,000 a week, plus £1 million if we play him, $1.5 million if we don't, and $2 million as an optional future fee. It's more realistic, but still very, very expensive for a player who hasn't really played in the 3 years since we let him go. He was great when he was 18. Is he still great at 21? We don't really know. I don't know that he's necessarily going to be any better than what we've already got. His scout report suggests he's not as good as Cyril Fowry, so probably don't want to be blowing our entire transfer budget on him. So we kind of are now stuck in the cycle of trying to bring in anyone we can on trial, but then once they get here, realising we can't afford to pay them, and hoping that we start to get some good scout reports in. If you know how it is when you get promoted, it takes a little while for the scouting to catch up with your new level, and we're certainly finding that with the scout reports that we've got coming through. They're all a bit rubbish. We have used the time to improve off the pitch. We've got pretty much the best coaching setup in the entirety of France, which has got to be a good thing. I'd quite like to improve our training facilities, but with us being overdrawn at the moment, I suggest that's probably not going to be an option. So we're going to have to settle for just great training facilities. They have been downgraded this summer. When it comes to youth players, seeing what we've got potentially coming through, we still have Ibrahim Diallo at the club, who, if you remember, about 5 seasons ago, had that little spell where he was starting regularly for us, and then he's just disappeared into the development system again, not been heard of since, but he is potentially at 21 on the verge of pushing back towards the first team, still has a lot of potential. We've got Dan Fouquet, who is I thought he was a left back. He's not. He's a central midfielder who can also play as an attacking midfielder. Russ Eddy is a young striker. Francis Nkuka is a striker. Gerald Lotisse is still here, although now only showing his 3-star potential ability. We're probably just going to let him go out on loan again, and then let his contract expire. I think he's a victim of the club advancing faster than he has, but there's not a really obvious superstar new 16, 17-year-old ready to burst through, because obviously we've now moved up to a level where that's less likely to happen until we can upgrade the youth system again. So I think we're going to have one of those frustrating summers where there's not going to be a lot of business that goes on, and we just have to hope we can stay up. Oh, here we have. We've got a player, Musa Lutin. Hold on, hold the phone. Oh, he's another left winger. The one position we just don't need another player in. I mean, he's great. We just don't need him. Brilliant. Oh, excellent Willie news. We managed to pull it off after all. Willie Camboala is in. I mean, we're paying him an extraordinary amount of money, but he is exactly what we needed. For now, probably going to be coming in as right back. Long term, going to be our new centre back once we can sort out a right back to go the other side of him. Yes, we're paying him a lot of money, but look at him. Look at him. He's a beautiful thing. Young, plenty of potential, massive. It's exactly what I want out of a defender. Let's get him fully settled in. We did the age-old trick of letting his trial expire. Then he accepted a little bit less money. I mean, it's only a little bit less, and it does take us well over what our previous wage budget was. But I think we needed him, and I think that is a massive upgrade to an area of the squad that needed a massive upgrade. I'm happy with that one, not just because I got to tell you about Willy news, which might become a regular feature of the videos because I'm a child. Well, we're going to be without two key players for the start of life in Ligue 1 because they're off faffing about at the Olympics. Ulrich Nguema, Cyril Fowry are both at the Olympics. I've been watching along with the Olympics intently, hoping France got knocked out. They did lose in the semi-final, but of course it's the Olympics. There's a stupid bronze medal match which is taking place today. It is interesting to see that our boys are actually a key part of this French Olympic team. As you can see, the central midfield pairing of Camavinga and Fowry, and then Nguema out there on the right-hand side. These are not lads that have just kind of tagged along for the ride. We have two players who are an integral part of the French under-23 Olympic team. Nguema's wearing Thierry Henry's shirt, for goodness sake. This is exciting stuff, but it does mean they're unavailable for the first game of the new season. I am trying to bring Oliver Vaquero in on loan. I just feel like we probably need an extra body in midfield. We've not been able to find anybody. And the fact that he's being scouted as better than Fowry, and we've just seen that Fowry is Camavinga's central midfield partner at the Olympics, suggests that Vaquero's probably, at 21, good enough to do a job for us still. The idea of having Vaquero, Fowry and Nguema as our midfield three, to me, is very exciting. And we're also trying to bring in another striker, Ibrahim Abaldi, who would cost us £500,000, former French under-20 international. I just think we need another attacking player, made obvious when we see what happens to the attack in the absence of Nguema, who is not only away on international duty, but also currently suspended. I feel like we're just a little bit weak having to go with Lemina on the right-hand side, Barcola on the left, double Steve up top. Obviously, Tutu can play anywhere across that three. Nguema will normally come in on that right-hand side, but to me, it just seems a little weak in some key areas. I'm not comfortable at right back still. Our new goalkeeper, Majeki, he's going to be injured for the first couple of weeks of the season, so we've got to go with Diaz in goal for now. I'm not particularly happy about that. Tom Reno at the base of the midfield, not very happy there. I'm thinking we drop Traore or Lopi back and then go with Fowry and Vaquero in front of them on a normal basis. Maybe even Vaquero can slot in there. Double Steve and Barcola, I am happy with. But you know what? The squad we're spent up. We don't really have the money. We've got another month of transfer window left, but everyone we can find who we can afford doesn't improve us, and everyone who can improve us, we can't afford. The media expect we're going to go straight back down along with Clermont, which is probably a bit of a fair assessment, really, when you look at the kind of players who are knocking around in this league that we now play in. Donnarumma, Hakimi, Musiala, Fati, Haaland. Just yikes. I am very afraid. I'm also quite excited that Monaco is still our parent club. Apparently that hasn't gone away. So I don't know if there's anyone. I haven't even looked at this. See if there's anyone. Can we have Renato Sanchez for the season, please? Or Moise Keane, hero of the recent streamer showdown. We'll take either of those. I'm surprised to see this many greyed out players in their squad as well. That's a bit of a surprise. I don't think they've still got Vukic. Was that the name of the guy we had on loan the other year? I think he left last summer. I don't think he is still around and about the place. Maybe he didn't. When did he come to us? Roko Vukovic. No, he has left. He is now playing regularly for, is that Lille? Or that's Lille, isn't it? Lille, yes. Played all season for Lille last year in this league and is now valued between 16.5 and 27 million pounds. I don't think we're going to get Roko Vukovic back in anytime soon. But maybe Oliver Vaquero will be the answer. We looked again at Stephen Boyd, but just can't afford him. That's going to be the team that we're going to try and stay in Ligue 1 with. These guys are going to handle Haaland easily, right? All right, when do we play PSG? Not for a few days. We'll be fine. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.